Hello everyone, welcome back to NCERT Academy. So today we have taken the question from, we can categorize it under environment. We can also categorize this question or the type of question which we have taken today, the information, we can also categorize them under ecology. Okay, so let's see what is the question or the topic. So the question is in the nature, which one of the following is or are most likely to be found surviving on surface without soil? So the first is fern, lichen, moss and mushroom. So we know about lichen, we know about moss, we know about mushroom, we know about fern. So sometimes it happens that whenever we are reading this small information, especially with respect to fern, we will not pay attention and we might miss them, and when we miss them, and there only UPSC is capitalizing and they are asking questions. So we'll see the answer. However, this question was asked by UPSC in 2021 prelims last year, that is June last year. This question was asked. This year in February 2022, this was asked by UPSC. Eagle fern, horsetail and chrysanthemum, they grow well in which type of soil? So this was also a question. So see, fern, the category or the theme is same. They are going deeper into that. Again, in April 2022, they have asked this question: which one of the following living organism gives litmus? Protozoa, virus, lichen, or Saccharomyces? So Saccharomyces, we will discuss what is it. Okay. So what I have done, we have taken, if you will see in all the three questions, the options or the information is revolving around these categories. So what I have done, I have taken the information related to this, and by the end of this discussion, we will have the clarity about the options, what is the right answer. So let's start our discussion. What are we going to discuss is that first you should know that the different organisms has been classified by Robert Whitaker under 5 kingdoms. So here, one of that kingdom is plant kingdom. So we have taken plant kingdom only, and here we are going in depth with respect to plant kingdom. So plant kingdom further has been classified into under 5 categories, that is algae, bryophytes, tridiophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Okay, we will discuss about them in detail. And here, if you can have a look, the box which has been highlighted, that plant kingdom has changed over time. So fungi or the members of Monera and Protista, these are the other kingdoms. By the end of this discussion, we will discuss the Robert Whitaker's classification under different kingdoms for organisms. So earlier, since fungi, Monera and Protista, they have cell walls, though earlier they were included under plant kingdom, but no more they are classified under plant kingdom. We don't consider them as plants. It is also written cyanobacteria earlier was referred as blue-green algae and are not algae anymore. So they are bacteria. We have also discussed this when we were discussing about hyphae. So hope you can revise, you have revised that, you have gone through that video. Okay, let's start the discussion one by one. So algae, we have discussed algae in detail, so we are not discussing here much about algae. We will discuss about bryophytes. So bryophytes includes what? They include various mosses and liveworts. So liveworts, they look like something like this. Okay, so these are liveworts. And liveworts and mosses, they grow in hilly areas, they grow in moist, shaded areas in the hills. Okay, and we will discuss more details with respect to mosses in detail. Then you will get more clarity. First, let's have general understanding about bryophytes. So bryophytes, we have seen that mosses and liveworts are come under that category, and bryophytes are also called as amphibians of the plant kingdom, because these are the plants, they can live in the soil and they can live, but they are dependent upon water for what? For the sexual reproduction. So that's why they are called as the amphibians of plant kingdom. Also, they lack true roots, stem or true leaves. They may possess like root-like, leaf-like or stem-like structure. Okay, and the main plant body of bryophyte is known as haploid. So remember that haploid is associated with bryophyte. So bryophyte comes under the plant kingdom. Algae, we have already discussed when we were discussing fungi, algae in related to the video under hyphae. So there we have discussed seaweeds, algae, red algal bloom. So there we have discussed in detail. So they also come under plant kingdom. Now let's discuss other aspects. So mosses, whenever we talk about mosses, so these are the mosses which you can see. Mosses, they are green, they are flat structures. As you can see, they don't have true roots, they don't have true stems or true leaves. So these are flat structures that resemble true leaves, and they absorb water and nutrients. Some mosses have even branches as well. So mosses can have branches as well. And this you can see within forest how they have occupied the area, the root area, or on the base how they have occupied. So mosses have traits that they can be easily their adaptation to dry lands or hilly areas or extreme weather conditions. They are adaptable, they can adapt any kind of conditions. And these mosses are non-flowering plants. They produce spores and have stem and leaves, but they don't have true roots. Okay, rather they have rhizoids. Rhizoids are something which are hair-like structure, and with this they will anchor themselves to rock or the bark or soil. So remember it, mosses can be found on barks, they can be found on soil, they can be found on the barks of the tree, and they can also be found on the rocks. So they grow in different environments, snowy environment, hot deserts, range of adaptation is there. Okay, and mosses play a very important role in the development of new ecosystems. So whenever you would have read your successions, whenever you are reading Shankar IAS or PMF material or NCERTs, wherever you are reading from, there you would have read about that how mosses play a very important role in the development of new ecosystem. So they are called as the first plants or the first plant colonizers of the disturbed sites, such as when area is deforested or affected by forest fires. So first signs of life will be seen with the help when the mosses will start developing, and they stabilize the soil surface and retain water, thus helping the new plants to grow. So what they do, they will retain the moisture. So they are helping, or they are providing the enabling environment for other plants to grow. Okay, so this is about mosses, and yeah, that's it. In the image which you can see behind there, along with mosses there is a silver-like structure, silver-like organism is there. So they are lichens. So in fact mosses, they retain water, which is what lichens use to prolong their growth cycle. That's why moss and lichen pictures will you will find them together always in pictures in some surfaces. Okay, so this is about mosses. Let's discuss about next organism. So we have discussed about plant kingdom. Algae we have already covered in previous videos. Bryophytes we have discussed, mosses and liveworts. Now we will discuss about pteridophytes. So pteridophytes are includes horsetails and ferns. So here we have horsetail, which looks like this. So that's why you can see the structure is of a horse-like structure. So that's why horsetail. And ferns, they are used for medical purposes, and they are also soil binders. Okay, and why they are important? Because in the process of evolution, pteridophytes, they were the first terrestrial plant to have vascular tissues, that is xylem and phloem. So we have read that one is responsible for supplying water and another is responsible for supplying food. Okay, and pteridophytes, they are found in cool, damp, shady places, and they flourish well in sandy soil conditions. And sandy soil, when we say then sandy soils are often acidic, and so acid loving plants, they thrive there. So you will get to know importance of this information when we will revisit the question again. Okay, now these are fern. So you have already seen horsetail, these are ferns. So ferns are the plants that they don't have flowers, and it's a member of a group of vascular plants, that is plants with xylem and phloem, that reproduce via spores. They have neither seeds nor flowers. So ferns are important. Sometimes we ignore them, but they are important because they don't have seeds or flowers. So their growth propagation will happen. They will reproduce through spores. So on the leaves you can see the spores, yellow structures. And here these spores they will have, as you can see the magnified image, so leaves will have spores and the further spores you can see. And if we analyze the life cycle of ferns, so the ferns will have from spores the mature gametophyte which will come there, they have a sperm and egg and they fertilize and produce zygote. So this is how they reproduce. Okay, so ferns, they differ from mosses and bryophytes because they are vascular. They have specialized tissues that conduct water and nutrients, like we have discussed earlier, xylem and phloem. Ferns, they are of not much economic importance, but we have discussed that they are important for medicine, as a biofertilizer, ornamental plants, and also they have very good capability of remediating contaminated soil. They have been subject of research in USA, and they have the ability to remove some chemical pollutants from the atmosphere. Okay, so that's why they are of special interest. This is about ferns. Next in the category are under plant kingdom are the fourth one, gymnosperms. So gymnosperms, gymno means naked, sperma means seeds. So these are the plants in which ovules are not enclosed by any ovary wall and they remain exposed both before and after fertilization. So the seeds that develop post fertilization are not covered, that is they are naked. So this is it. Not much information is there related to, there are many examples, but we should not focus there because yes, there is one example. One of the gymnosperm, the giant redwood tree, is one of the tallest tree species. So they are gymnosperm. The scientific name has been given here on the screen. You can see Sequoia, Sequoia. So sometimes UPSC is giving the scientific name and they are trying to confuse us. We will discuss it by the end of video, then you will understand that why the scientific name. So redwood tree is a gymnosperm. It is an example of gymnosperm, and the scientific name is Sequoia. Okay, we'll see the other classification, that is angiosperm. Angiosperm is the fifth category, and why they are important, because unlike gymnosperms, the ovules here are where gymnosperms, the ovules are naked, and in angiosperms, basically the angiosperms name is coming from flowering plants. So these are the plants where they the ovules are developed in a specialized structure called flowers, and they are divided into further two classifications, that is dicotyledons and monocotyledons. So dicotyledons are characterized by having two cotyledons in their seeds, while monocotyledons have only one. So whenever you use pulses, so pulses you can break them, so they are dicotyledon. So like that you have to remember two parts or two cotyledons in their seeds. So that way we should remember it. So angiosperms, they are basically the flowering plants. Till now we have discussed about the different plant kingdoms, different categories under the plant kingdoms with respect to vascular or non-vascular. So all those we have discussed. Now we will discuss the broader classification by Robert H. Whitaker in 1969. He has classified the organisms under various categories. So based on prokaryotic and eukaryotic, he has classified. So Monera, they are categories of prokaryotic. So basically this kingdom includes all prokaryotic. So for your easy correlation, bacteria, cyanobacteria, or the blue-green algae, unlike algae, they are cyanobacteria. So cyanobacteria, so bacteria come under this kingdom of Monera. And next is eukaryotic, and there also further classification is unicellular and multicellular. So unicellular we have Protista. So Protista kingdom includes protozoas, okay, zooplanktons, phytoplanktons. So they will come under this category of Protista. Next we have is the category fungi. So okay, further multicellular has been classified under with cell wall and without cell wall. So we know that plant cell has the cell wall, but animals like we are also Homo sapiens, our cells don't have cell wall. So animal cell and plant cell, the differentiating factor is cell wall. So without cell wall is the category, the kingdom has been categorized as Animalia. And with cell wall, for those who can create or produce their food, Plantae, and heterotrophic who are dependent. So fungus fungi has cell wall, but they don't produce their own food, so they are heterotrophic in nature. So these are the 5 kingdoms under which Robert H. Whitaker has classified different organisms. Okay, however, NCERT says that unlike other than these 5 kingdoms, viroids and prions and lichens, they are not classified under, they have been not given any space under the Whitaker's classification. Okay, virus did not find a place in classification because they are not considered truly living, and the viruses are non-cellular organisms. Okay, so this is important information from NCERT which you should know. However, we have discussed in detail about virus, bacteriophages, so revise that video as well when we have discussed about COVID vaccines. So there we have discussed in detail. Okay, now since NCERT has already mentioned that viroids, prions, lichens and viruses have been not given any space under Robert Whitaker's classification, so let's understand what is viroids. So viroids are smaller than viruses, and they are caused, they are responsible for various disease as well, and it was found to be free. When the researchers, they have discovered it, they found it that it is an infectious agent and it lacked a protein coating which is there present in virus, and the RNA of viroid was of low molecular weight. However, you should know that RNA is present in viroids and they are smaller than virus, and they are responsible for, they are infectious agents, so they are responsible for various diseases as well. Okay, prions. So prions, what are prions? They are the agent, they are equivalent to the size of virus, and these agents are responsible for transmission of disease, and the disease caused by prions are bovine spongiform disease, so BSC, commonly called as BSC, or mad cow disease in cattle. So mad cow disease is not caused by bacteria, it is not caused by virus, protozoa, it is caused by prions. So they are the agents which are similar in size to virus, but they are not virus. Lichens. So lichens we have to discuss. Lichens are complex life form and they have symbiotic partnership. So lichens, whenever we say lichens are neither plant or nor animal, because they don't fall under animal kingdom, that's we have already seen. And lichens, they live in symbiotic relation. So there will be a symbiotic relation of fungus and algae. So dominant partner here is fungus. Okay, fungus, we have seen that they have cell walls. So fungus is dominant partner because lichens, they get majority of their characteristics like thallus shape or the fruiting bodies. So it comes from fungus. The algae can be either green algae or blue-green algae, otherwise known as the blue-green algae. We call it as cyanobacteria. So many lichens have both types of algae. Sometimes they will have blue-green algae, that is a bacteria, and they will have green algae. That's why they get that color. So lichens, they have this special type of partnership because fungi, they gain nutrients from other organisms. They are heterophytes, we have studied. So algae partner here, they are symbiotic relationship of algae and fungus. So algae will do what? They will do photosynthesis and provide food for the fungus so that it can grow and spread. Okay, so this is what you should know. And they don't have root, stems or leaves, and their chloroplasts are contained only in algae on the top surface of the lichen. So it is the chloroplast, the green color from which they are getting is because of the algae. Okay, another important role or information which we should know about algae is that they can live in any harsh environment as well, and they are indicators of climate change also, or they are indicators of air pollution also, because they have ability to absorb everything which is there in the atmosphere, especially the pollutants. So many times it has happened that any heavy metal or carbon or sulfur or other pollutants in the atmosphere were present, they were absorbed by the lichens. Okay, and then scientists have taken those lichens and they have extracted those metals and they have studied the pollutant in that area. So that's how they become the indicator of climate change or indicator of pollution in the area. And they are they also one functional importance of lichens is that we get a special kind of powder, litmus. Litmus is a water soluble mixture of different dyes extracted from lichens. and it is often absorbed into filter paper to produce one of the oldest forms of pH indicator, which is used to test the acidity or basic nature of the element. So litmus paper. So litmus is basically a water soluble mixture of different dyes that we get from lichens. Okay, so two important, one is litmus paper, other is that they are the indicator of the climate change or the air pollution. So we should know that. Next, now we will discuss about the question. So the question was asked by UPSC last year itself. The question is saying that in nature, which one of the following are most likely to be found surviving on surface without soil? So here the catch is without soil. So now if you recall from our discussion, fern we have discussed they can grow. NCERT is saying that they can grow in sandy soils. Sandy soils we have read they are acidic in nature. So acidic soil is required for it. Lichens we have discussed and we have seen, you also would have observed that they can grow over rocks, they can grow over bark of the trees and over mosses. So we have seen the image of lichen and mosses together. Okay, moss also can survive on wooden surface or rocks or the bark of the trees and soil as well. So they can survive without soil also. Mushroom we know that they are saprophytes. We have you also must have observed that they also don't need any soil. But now we have to look for the combination. If we remove option number 1, so we are left with B and C, that 2 and 3. So 2 is definitely there and moss we know is will be there. So the answer is 2 and 3. Had it been 2, 3, 4, so then we would have marked 2, 3, 4. Okay, now let's see the question which was asked by UPSC in 2022 February. So they have asked eagle fern, horsetail and chrysanthemum, they grow well in what? So they grow well in acidic soil. So now is this clear? Okay, now the question was asked by UPSC in 2022 April. Which one of the following living organisms give litmus? So litmus we have discussed, the answer is lichens. Okay, now the other options which has been given here, this option is D option, which is there in 22 April. Saccharomyces. So Saccharomyces are the name, they are the technical name of yeast, Saccharomyces. So sometimes UPSC is giving these options also to confuse us. We will think that okay, what are these organisms? So we might not be familiar, but they are yeast. Okay, so just for clarity I have taken this so that you will be not you will not get confused if in future if you come across this information. Okay, so this is it about today. Hope you enjoyed the discussion and we have done very good coverage of plant kingdom, animal kingdom. We have not discussed, but we have discussed the broad category by Robert H.W. and these information, or at least these names if come in exam, then you should not get confused. Okay, all the best, take care and revise well. We'll meet in the next video. Take care, bye bye.